Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Heart Healthy Hustle podcast show. I'm your host, Jonathan, and I am glad you're here. On this show, I talk with industry-leading experts about connecting with others, impacting your niche, and striving to live the best life possible. It's all about sparking meaningful conversations around business ownership and entrepreneurship. The Heart Healthy Hustle show is about finding connection with proactive peers and navigating a healthy work life with full autonomy. So whether you're driving to or from work right now, exercising, eating, or just relaxing, come hang out and get ready to enjoy another inspiring episode of the Heart Healthy Hustle show. What's going on, guys? This is your host, Jonathan Frederick. Today, I want to talk to you guys about something that's blowing me away. As I speak to you right now, I'm looking at this statistics page on podcast hosting account. I wouldn't necessarily say I have low self-esteem, right? And so whenever somebody tells me, hey, like I heard your show, it's great. Or I really like that episode with Sean or whoever it was, I'm borderline blown away. Like it still hasn't hit me that it's my show and that the guests are coming on and people are hearing it. That's all well and good. Okay, great. So I'm going over the statistics and I'm like, I can't believe this is like so insane. Like I'm literally speechless. The numbers aren't awesome, but I'm going to tell you what I'm looking at. The downloads per country is shows you a world map of where the downloads are coming from. I'm just gonna list off what countries the podcast has already been downloaded, and some of these are just one download in that country, but it still touched that country and different parts of the world. I'm just gonna read off. So in the United States, that is hands down the most downloads. If you're listening from any of these following states, shout out directly to you and a huge thank you. So the number one state for the number of downloads is North Carolina. Second place, my home state of New Jersey. Let's go to work. Second place, a close second. We have North Carolina and Jersey. Actually, in third place, I believe third. I could be wrong on these guys, but Virginia. Then we have Pennsylvania, Maryland. Shout out to Maryland. Delaware. Shout out to the Delaware Valley. New York. Vermont. I'm just reading these out of order now. It's not by descending order of downloads. So, guys, we have Massachusetts. We do not have every state yet. We still don't have Maine. Any downloads from Maine? Bummer. Oh, man. We have Ohio. Good show out in Ohio. One download in Kentucky. Hey, all right, y'all. Okay, we got Tennessee. We got a few. Georgia, we got a good amount in Georgia. Huh, that's interesting. Not many in South Carolina. Can't say I mind too much. But if you are one of the few downloads in South Carolina, thank you. All right, we have Florida. Good showing in Florida. That's awesome. Mississippi, wow, not a bad showing there. Louisiana, almost none. Texas, cool. All right, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri. Shout out to the Midwest. Here we go. Kansas, Nebraska. We got one in Nebraska. If you are the lone wolf in Nebraska, tumbleweeds going by. I'm just kidding. Nebraska, thank you to the one person in Nebraska. South Dakota as well. Hey, let's go. South Dakota. All right. Colorado. Wow, my geographical map of where Colorado lies on the U.S. map is so far off. I always think of Colorado being right to the left of like Ohio or Illinois, but it's way over there towards California. Interesting. All right, cool. We have Idaho. We have Nevada, Arizona, Washington State. All right, Oregon, Cali. Wow, California with a big showing. California actually more than twice as many downloads as in Florida. Wow. Bummer. I thought there was a bunch in Hawaii. There's none showing from Hawaii or Alaska. Huh. Got to work harder. If you are listening to this episode and you are one of the people from any of the states I just listed, thank you so much for downloading the show, for listening, and just for being a valued listener, guys. It really means everything because without you, there is no Heart Healthy Hustle. There's no community. There's no podcast. So You guys rock. I really appreciate you very much, and I'm excited to see where the show is going to go. I love doing stuff like this and sharing it with you guys as the audience, and it's a fantastic time for me. Hopefully it is for you guys too. If you don't care about these kind of stats, let me know and I won't do them anymore. But I think they're cool. I think it's fun to do, and it would be even cooler if you could click on the state and see what city from each state the downloads are coming from, but you can't do that. Now let's go into the entire world map. There's a bunch in Canada. We got the Dominican Republic. We have Sweden. We have the United Kingdom. We have France. I'm not making this up. I'm literally looking at which countries it shows you where downloads are coming from. I'm not making this up. All right, we have Germany. Czech Republic. This is insane, guys. I knew you'd like to hear this. If you're following the podcast in way, shape, or form, this is really interesting stuff that podcasters usually don't talk about in detail with their audience. So I want to share it with you guys. We're on this journey together, so I just think this is incredible. Italy. A bunch in Italy. Unreal. This is so cool. Turkey. Unreal. We have New Zealand. The other side of the flipping world. New Zealand. Wow. Guys, we're doing it. This podcast is making an impact as we speak. I just want to share that with you guys for a couple of reasons. One is just to inspire you. If you've listened to the show, you've contributed to this. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. It really does mean a lot. I'm not just doing this podcast to just have another thing to do. I'm really pouring myself into it. And, Germany. I don't know if I said Germany. That's really exciting to me. A bunch in Sweden. That's so interesting. I'm trying to think of if I had a Swedish guest or something. Anybody can do this, guys, with any platform. I mean, yes, you can. Part of the reason I did this podcast was to connect like-minded individuals, business owners, people who need to have words of affirmation spoken to them occasionally. I want to do an episode on that topic, but a lot of times when you're a go-getter, a lot of people will look at you and say, "Oh, they're doing fine. They're crushing it. They don't need a word of encouragement. They don't need help." That is such a lie. It's just not true. I'm sorry, but it's just not true. And if you're a high achieving person, or you're just a high performer, or somebody who really likes to get stuff done, then you know what I'm talking about. And I've had conversations with friends of mine about this exact topic before. Influential people, authors, personal friends of mine, pastors, family members. This is a real thing. And I want to be that voice, because I'm not saying I don't get that, because I have gracious friends and family who care about me and want to see me do well. And I appreciate that so much. I want to share that. I want to spread that, because there are so many people who don't have that circle. They don't have that blessing of having good people around them. And maybe you're working towards that. And I just encourage you to keep going. Just keep going. It will happen. Just press on. I remember I had made a bunch of very purposeful efforts over and over again to connect with people, find people who are doing similar things perhaps, or just other people who I vibed with. And I met a bunch of people, and it was really fun. And, I constantly meet new people. It's a great time. It's uncomfortable to share. It's just I remember just, not too long ago, and still at times to this day, feeling this sense of, why can't I find people who are doing similar things? And it hit me, instead of growing bitter or cynical that they're not out there, I was like, you know what? I know there are people like me out there. I know there are people who are struggling to connect. I know there are people who are proactive. They're not walking around with their head down and sad all the time, having self-pity or woe is me. Absolutely not. They're actually being proactive. They're doing what they can. They're trying very hard to serve people and add value to other people's lives. And they're doing just that. So my word for you is to keep pressing on. I hit I wouldn't say a rock bottom in this area, but there was this point of no return where I was sitting on my bed. I was about to go to sleep, and I was just thinking about my day. And I was like, you know what? I'm really upset about this. I'm really upset about the situation right now. It just doesn't feel like many people get it, or I'll just say I was upset. I was angry at the situation. I'm not angry at other people or anything like that. I was angry at the situation, just frustrated. Just frustrated. That's a good word for it. Just frustrated to the point of anger because I've been putting so much effort into investing in individuals, and not for my own good, but understanding that when I was faced with a decision, the decision was option one: grow cynical, forget about the whole quest to invest in individuals, if you want to call it a quest, and just focus completely on myself and just become isolated, cynical, and forget about it. Or option two, put myself out there first, read the books first, reach out to people first, host events first, be the person that's out there doing it first, grow your moral authority, influence people, learn, study, always be a student, and keep going. And I knew option one doesn't work because I've tried it before and it just is not good. It's not healthy. It doesn't help anyone, especially not yourself. And option two, just a lot more opportunity that route. I guarantee it. So if you're listening to this and you're like, holy crap, I totally vibe with what you're saying, get yourself out there more. Keep reading, keep being proactive, keep taking action, and invest in individuals, set your goals high, and share. I want to challenge you, share one with one other individual right after you're done listening to this episode. The episode ends. Before you do anything else, pick up your phone, pause it so it doesn't start autoplaying another episode of a different show or this show, and text somebody you love or admire or care about, and just let them know why, and that you do care about them or that you are blessed by who they are. Just do it. One person. Try to make it somebody who you think doesn't need it. That's my challenge for you. After you listen to this episode, just one person. I'm not saying like text your long lost stepdad who's an alcoholic. Reach out to somebody. Maybe it's somebody who looks up to you, a younger sibling. Maybe it's somebody who you look up to. Find somebody who you don't think needs the encouragement and give it to them anyway. And watch what happens. Watch what happens. You might not even get a response, but that doesn't matter. There will be a ripple effect, I guarantee it, if that message is received appropriately. That being said, I'm blown away by your support. I really am humbled by it. The show is just starting out. This isn't that big a deal. I get it. That's a beautiful thing, but it also is a huge deal. It is a huge deal because, I got to stop minimizing accomplishments. That's almost annoying because it is a huge deal. It's not a ton of downloads, but we're just starting out. This is month one. It's been out from June 4th until today. I'm recording this episode on mid-July 2018. So that being said, this show has only been out just over a month. We're in over 10 countries. Unreal. I mean, it is real. It's just blowing my mind. Guys, thank you so much, if you're still listening to this episode, for being a valued listener. And I share these updates with you guys so you know I'm actively investing myself into this podcast and this community. But this is my main focus at this point. Make sure that if you are somebody who hasn't had a word of encouragement recently, just know that you're not alone. You matter, and your dreams matter because you matter. And just let's work, guys. Let's work. It's time to prove it to yourself that you're capable of that next goal, that next achievement. I didn't really mean for this episode to be all serious, but I was borderline in tears before starting this recording because just trying to really focus on what I'm trying to do and accomplish with this show and who and how I'm trying to help people with it and how it's helping me simultaneously and just changing my life. So if you guys have anything that you want to share with me or share with the community, head over to Facebook. But more importantly, if you guys want to reach out to me directly, you can use my personal email. Use Jonathan at thehearthealthyhustle.com, JONATHAN at thehearthealthyhustle.com. You'll be all set. It's going to do it for this episode, guys. I didn't mean for it to be all solemn again, but the time we're living in is really blowing my mind. So stoked to see what's going to happen next. Help me fill out this map, guys. Let's fill it out. The country, the world map. We need a lot of help in South America. I have 0 downloads. We have nothing in Africa, nothing in Australia, which that's definitely got to change. Australia is so chill. Help me out, guys, and share it with one other person as well. All right, so don't forget to send that encouraging message, those words of encouragement, or just a nice words of affirmation to somebody who you think doesn't need it. Maybe it's somebody you look up to, and just send that out. It doesn't have to be long, just a couple sentences, and just make a positive impact in the world today. It'll make you feel good, and it'll definitely make the person who gets your message feel good. So, yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. Let's work. Thank you for listening to the Heart Healthy Hustle podcast. If you made it to the end of this episode, I want to say thank you, and also I want you to ask yourself why. What about this episode really stood out to you? I want to challenge you to take action on that thing. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd really appreciate your time and consideration to go ahead and leave a helpful review in iTunes, so it really helps the podcast grow and we can impact even more people who need this. Thank you guys for all of your support, and I will see you in the next episode.